Welcome to Season 5 of Swiss Impact with Banerjee. I'm Sveta.
And I am Ben. The topic of Season 5 is impactful investments. How can you make a difference with your capital?
Our guests, who are managing impact investment funds, business owners, thought leaders, will empower you to invest with impact.
In this season, we will showcase various impact investment funds who are contributing to SDGs, better known as Sustainable Development Goals as defined by the United Nations.
There is no excuse. Shift your capital to create positive change in our world. Your children will be happier, you will feel fulfilled, and make money.
We will broadcast every Friday afternoon at 5 p.m. Central European Time, here on Swiss Impact with Banerjee. You get more when you give back.
So always invest with impact.
Good morning, afternoon, and evening to everyone.
Welcome back to our Season 5, Episode 15, dedicated to impactful investment opportunities. And today's show is dedicated to solution to housing challenges. Namely, our guest will show us how to build faster, safer, and greener homes, and this out of recycled plastic. And if, as a kid, you are adult, some adults love it, Lego you loved, then you will be able also to build your own house with the blocks of Block Solutions, the company name. Did I tell too much?
Yes, you did. But it is true. It is really very true. So, but our guest has a lot to say about this and how they are making a tremendous positive impact on people's life. And by the way, I know that many of you are watching us on YouTube, on social media, on smart TV. Wherever you're watching us, you're most welcome. And you can also listen to us on podcast. You're most welcome to listen to us, watch us. Just go into YouTube /Swiss Impact and you will find us.
Ben, I know you prepared a story, of course, as usual for today, but as I can't wait to welcome our guest, let's keep it short.
Okay, I'll do that. So, all right. Well, we are aware of two major issues that the world faces today, the CO2 emission and the waste plastic. So we all are working at reducing the CO2 emission or CO2 footprint from all our activities, our consumptions, our eating habits, and everything. And as shown by many of your previous guests, it varies from using electrical vehicle like we do instead of fossil fuel, or sustainable farming, or many other ways we can reduce the CO2. And also, as the Secretary General Guterres of United Nations mentioned, that increase in CO2 has significantly increased the impact of more and more frequent floods, heat, drought, wildfire, storms, etc. But still, our addiction to fossil fuel is increasing and increasing. Same is valid for the waste plastic, which is flooding our lands, our oceans, our rivers, and the direct and indirect impact is overwhelming. But yet, the production of the single-use plastic, especially in countries like China, is going on and is also ever increasing. So the question is, when would it stop or what are the solutions? So in conclusion, we must support businesses, actions, organizations who are doing something against this.
Well, now I hope everyone understands this. So that is how we come to the guests of today, and their activities are answering to both of your points, which you said before. And with this, I'd like to welcome our guests, Sanna and Markus Silfverberg. Hello.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hi there.
Hi.
Where are you guys now?
We're actually in Finland at the moment, so actually I'm supposed to fly once again out to Africa in a few weeks. But let's say at the moment we're in Finland at our home.
Where in Finland?
We're close to Tampere. It's a town called Ylöjärvi, and we're producing actually it's the brainstorming place of Block Solutions over here.
Okay.
That's so great. Guys, I'd like to introduce you first to our audience and also your company because it's truly amazing. I'm completely a huge fan already. So let's start.
And she doesn't say that very often.
That's true. So let's start with ladies first, of course, with Sanna. So Sanna, you're the CEO of Block Solutions, and you want to promote the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals in everyday life, especially gender equality. Sanna, you also have extensive background in human resources, and also you know almost every detail of Block Solutions technology, including injection molding, and you also even build yourself by using the blocks which you produce, the company, I mean, of course. Sanna's vision is to disrupt the entire construction industry with their innovative solution and material. So you're also creating sustainable communities around the globe, which is inspiring.
And the house where you're sitting, is that also built with Block
Well,
Solutions?
we would have built it if it would have been available 20 years ago.
Yeah.
But let's say this house was built 20 years
The
ago.
next one, right?
But by ourselves, we did it by ourselves.
Wow.
Great, Markus, now it's your turn. So you are the founder and inventor behind Block Solutions. You're an international serial entrepreneur with extensive background in the production technology sector of large scale. Your passion is sustainability and environmental actions, and also fighting the climate change. Your company, Block Solutions, is affordable, sustainable, environmentally friendly, and easy way of building homes. This is what it stands for. So we are looking forward to learn more about it, and we have a lot of questions.
Yeah, we have so many questions that she was just now saying that we should do a kind of, what did you say?
Fire chat.
Fire chat. We have to ask very quickly.
Because everyone wants to know, and we will come later to that. Let's start with your stories first, right? So, Markus, can you tell us how on earth you came to Block Solutions and started it? What happened before?
Well, let's say I've been an entrepreneur for over 20 years of my lifetime, and actually been having an industrial background. Let's say I started with civil engineering as let's say a building supervisor and so on. But then actually at that point, I already noticed that building is very conservative and we're just doing it the wrong way in my perspective. We should be able to do it much simpler. And that's when I got the idea. The idea came only about 20 years later on to that. And I am really passionate about the future, and I want to help all of us to become more sustainable.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh,
Thank you for sharing.
He's keeping it now very short. and Sanna, you come from HR. How did you end up in Markus's business?
Yeah.
I don't think your husband
We are a couple.
Yeah.
Because we are a couple, and it was like 5 years ago that I started as an entrepreneur
Together in the family business.
in the family business. And of course, I'm very family oriented, and I wish that everybody should have a possibility to have their own safe home. So that's like my dear hope. So the Block Solutions was our first, or how do you say it? Our last baby.
Last baby, yeah. So we have 3 of our own, and then we created a 4th version, and that's the Block. Actually, yeah, we were like group executives in our past lifetime. So we wanted to really make a change. So that's when we stopped off the ladder and started to do something good also for the global structures and so on.
Yeah.
So that is the point that we're here.
And why is sustainable building so important to both of you?
Well, actually, sustainability, when you think about 39% of the carbon emissions in the world are related to construction.
Yeah.
So every single thing that is cutting down the carbon emissions within constructions is important to us. So the thing is, our solutions, we dare to say that it is very, very carbon, let's say, neutral. Even at some point, we can also state, let's say, hopefully, that it's going to be carbon negative. But I'm going to tell you a little bit more about that later on.
And I can show you one block. This is from rice husk
Great.
and recycled plastics.
Yeah, so actually what we're doing, we're mixing together different fibers. And so this is made from like 50% recycled rice husk. But we can use, for example, sugarcane, bamboo, coconut husk, textiles even.
And in many countries, those fibers, they are burning it. So that, but we can use it for the blocks.
Yeah, so it really is about, let's say, changing the world. When we say that if for example, rice would be burned, it's creating a lot of, let's say, CO2 in the atmosphere. When we're binding that into a product that will last at least 100 years, then we can say that we're making a change. And that's what we want to really implement. So, and also it's so simple to build with this. It is really, like Sveta said, building with large-scale Lego blocks.
Cool. I mean, India has a lot of issues with, burning the husks around Delhi and all that.
Yeah, actually, I read a survey, actually a recent study about that when we are burning the rice husk in the world, it is actually contributing to 2% of the carbon emissions in the world. Think what an impact, 2%. That is, okay, don't kill me if it's a little bit different, but it's 2% according to the study.
It's really a lot. So tell us more about block solutions. So you just produce blocks and then you build houses out of it. Is there anything more? What's the philosophy behind?
Well, the philosophy is about trying to get the people. There are 3 billion people in the world who need affordable homes. And the thing is, if we need to build the homes for these 3 billion people with conventional ways, first of all, we will never be able to build them with the time schedule that we have at hand. But when we build it with the blocks, there's a fighting chance that we can do it. Well, let's say maybe 1% of that amount, but still doing that environmentally friendly and do it locally. That is also very important to us because we're using local raw material. And by combining the different fibers that will be burnt, we're really cutting down on the CO2 emissions significantly.
How can you produce it locally? You need to bring your fabric there, or how does that happen?
Yeah, actually, our business model is based on licensing. So what we do, we are establishing factories with a local partner over there. Let's take, for example, Indonesia. We have a global actually a partner over there called Classroom of Hope, who are building schools and homes over there. And they wanted to start building with the blocks. First, we shipped out the blocks from Finland to do a proof of concept over there in Lombok, for example. They built the schools, and then gradually when they saw that, hey, come on, this technology is something so different. And when the local government saw what we were doing, actually the government gave us a plot to build a factory so that we will start actually building a factory over there. We will deliver the technology. We will train the people on how to operate the factory, and then it just takes off.
This is a video where we are rebuilding a destroyed 300 square meter 5-classroom school in just 6 days. The previous school was built in 9 months.
And it really is that it's impacting the whole society. We're creating jobs, hundreds of jobs actually, with one small factory. The factory is pretty small. It's only 300 square meters in size, but still it has the capacity to build up to 2,400 homes per year.
And one important thing is that we will use local raw materials so that the plastics
are collected locally.
Yeah.
But do you need a certain amount of minimum raw material available before you decide to build a factory, or?
Well, in a way, yes, but then again, there's too much of the raw material available at the moment. The thing is, like Indonesia is, I think it was the third biggest polluter, for example, of plastic waste in the world. So there is enough raw material available, but the thing is, it's just 90% of the plastics is below soil at the moment. They go into big dump sites. So what we're going to do, we're going to employ the local people, waste pickers, to go to the dump site to bring us, let's say, the plastics. We will recycle it, we will wash it, we will crush it, we will pelletize it, and then we will actually get those homes built by the blocks after that.
And how much plastic would you need? For example, you mentioned you can build 2,400 houses in a year. How many tons of plastic would you need for that?
And I really love this question because it really is the big impact that we're making. So 4,000 tons of plastics in one 300 square meter factory. Of course, if we combine the 4,000 tons, so we could use 2,000 tons of plastics and 2,000 tons of fibers if it's found in that market.
And normally one factory includes 3 injection molding machines.
Yeah.
Wow.
And how does the quality of the blocks differ depending on the raw material used from place to place?
Sorry, I couldn't get what you meant.
Yeah, I mean, like you use different materials, raw materials, to produce the blocks, right? So how does the quality of blocks differ depending on the material from place to place?
Yeah, actually, the quality of the blocks usually remains the same quite enough, because when you think about like a yogurt can, for example, it's always the yogurt can. So it doesn't differ in quality in that sense. We've been working together, for example, a company called Danone, and they are supplying us raw material already. So that is one of those frame agreements we have with different users of plastics, and they want to take care of their plastics. So they are delivering us raw material so that we can use that raw material for the future application. So turning single-use plastics into long-term products. And actually, the blocks, even though they look very, very, let's say, simplistic, they have a huge load-bearing capacity. It is actually engineering terms. If a cinder block has a load bearing of 3 megapascals, the blocks have a load bearing of 6.51 megapascals. So it's about 2.2 times stronger than the normal cinder block, which is widely used in those areas.
Yeah.
And this means that we have a very, very high margin of error, even that. So let's say we could lower the quality, but we don't need to do it at the moment.
And how does it go with
plastics that we are using? It's household plastics.
Yeah.
So it's safe, and there is no risks for allergies or something.
Yeah, true. So no emissions into the let's say breathing air of the house.
And what about the temperature impact? Like, for example, I can imagine that if you go to a country like India, where the temperature in summer can be really hot, doesn't it impact the blocks?
And the thing is, you're once again a very, very good question about that. The thing is,
the house will melt, right?
Or bend. No, because it can also bend. You know, if the heat plastic.
The thing is, the temperature, the melting temperature of the block is about 200 degrees. So let's say, fortunately, we don't have those kind of temperatures yet on the planet Earth over here. But the thing is, living conditions is very important to us. So let's say when we deliver a house or the blocks for building a house, the insulation is very important. That it is already self-insulated because we have these air pockets within the block. It is actually creating an insulation. Yeah. So within the block, we have these air channels. So when we have the air channels over here, it is acting as an insulation already.
Yeah.
Like this insulation factor is based on the thing that, for example, in the subtropics and the tropic areas, it's already as a standalone a very good insulation. So it's adequate enough. But if we come here in Finland, where it's freezing minus 40 degrees over here, we do actually need to have an, let's say, more insulation. But that is very easy. You just stack it on the top of the blocks, and then you have the insulation. But for example, we're using quite a lot of like containers at the moment for affordable housing. Have you ever been inside a container when the outside temperature is 40 degrees? It is plus 70 inside.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's when we have an insulation already. And the pupils that are being studying now in the schools that we built in Lombok, they just love it inside because it's keeping so much cooler inside than outside.
And so what about cold, like?
Excuse me?
Sorry.
What about cold? Like how in which countries when it's colder than in Africa or India, you could imagine to build it? What about Sweden, Finland, and Norway maybe? How far can you go?
So let's say this would be enough for really the areas in the subtropics and the tropics as it is. But then the more northern that we get, for example, let's say in Germany, you would need to have an additional of 10 centimeters of insulation on the outside, and then increasing up to 14 centimeters here in the Nordics, like Sweden, Norway, Finland, and so on. That would be adequate already here.
Okay, great. What would you wanted to say, Sanna? I think I interrupted you before.
This nice color, this brown. This is from coconut husk.
So actually, this is like what we were doing when we go into a new market. We investigate what is in excess in every single market. So we're looking for, okay, Ghana has a lot of coconuts, but what do they do with the coconut husk? That's a huge problem over there. They cannot discard it. So what they do, they burn it. What does the burning do? Creates a lot of emissions.
Yeah.
So I mean, let's say now we're crushing that into small, let's say, micro particles. We mix it together with our recycled plastics. We create the pellets, and then we injection mold that. And we can do the same kind of analysis in every single market that we're going to. Going to Indonesia, there's a lot of, for example, let's say peanuts, the shells that you need to. You can use hemp. You can use whatever is available.
Yeah. But about the blocks, I was thinking you should have kind of standards so that it fits everywhere. Doesn't matter whether you're in Europe or India or wherever. So there's two issues I was thinking about. One is, for example, in Netherlands, our ceilings are very high because the people are very tall.
Yeah, sure.
In India, they are not that tall, so the ceilings are lower. Do you keep that in consideration? Or another point is that if you go to some Islamic nation or something, they may have curves on the house. Do you also keep that into consideration?
All the other parts, except the curves, that we can solve with the blocks. The curves need to be done with some other means. Sorry to say that. But still, we're
already great, Now it's a humans, Once they have something, they want more and more.
Of course they do, but that's what Block Solutions is all about. We're just in the beginning. The first steps of our newborn is that we're taking with the blocks. What we're doing on a global level, we are actually enhancing the product as we go all the time. We're getting add-ons all the time. But we just need to have, let's say, time to implement those. But let's say there's a lot of things inside this brain for the future also.
I have an idea. So let's take a concrete case. Ben and myself would like to build a house, 30 square meters, with 2 bedrooms at least. How much would it cost?
If it's going to be in Switzerland, it's going to cost you. It is actually going to cost you because, let's say, the labor cost and the raw material costs are a little bit higher in Switzerland than compared to the emerging markets that we're mainly focusing on. But let's say you would get the blocks for the house for about, let's say, maybe for 4,000 euros roughly.
How about India? Because we are thinking about moving to India maybe one day, someday. How much?
Then it's 2,000. 2,000 in India.
Okay, that's great. Do you also provide some financial support? Could we pay it in installments?
Hey guys, you were supposed to be the guys who know that how to do it.
No, that's a good point. For example, do you also work together with financial institutions like in India? So say for example, 100 people or 200 people want it, but they do not have the money. They can't pay you in one-time cash.
Yeah,
do you have
that is actually the thing that what we're looking for. So let's say working together with microfinance institutions and so on it's fundamental for us. Especially we're working with this impact housing from actually it's from Europe, but they are working together in India. So they are providing microloans for people in Asia. So, but of course, we're looking for many different, let's say, microfinance institutions to work together with, so they can provide us the microloans for the people, and we can provide the hardware for it.
That would be, because that would be a very good point to also work together with financial institutions who can support.
Absolutely. One of our biggest investors in Lombok is actually a microfinance institution.
Okay. And
wait. I have a question to Sanna now, because she's expert in gender equality, and microfinance is for women mostly, right? 99%.
That's true.
Right. So how do you incorporate gender equality in block solutions, Sanna?
We like to have for example, so that the employees in the factories, 50% of the workers are female and 50% of the are male, and we are very strict on that.
And
I have to give you an example.
Build, right?
Yeah.
I will have to give you an example of that. We were having discussions with let's say a big company in Egypt. But let's say we were almost signing the letter for getting the license agreement with them, and then actually the CEO of the company said that, and of course this gender equality policy of yours isn't that important for us. Is that true? I said, no, it's really important. That let's say we have 9 SDGs that we're following, and gender equality is actually one of the most important things that we have in the company. So absolutely not. So can't you make an exception? No, we cannot actually. And then I was asking, how many employees do you have in the factory? They had 1,000 employees. How many of them were female? None. So I say, okay. It was good talking to you, but let's take another one. That's how it is. We have to make an example of everything.
Yeah. And when we made a product development, so we designed so that the product is very lightweight, as you can see. It's not heavy, so that it's easy for women also to build with the blocks. And of course, when you make, for example, this 90 degrees angle, so it's very easy to build with the blocks, because you cannot do any mistakes. So it's very easy for women also to build.
Yeah, to say that the women wouldn't be more qualified to build with the blocks, but still, I have to say that when I've been traveling very extensively in Africa, when I go to the, let's say, outback over there, the women are doing the job. So that is why actually we need to enforce that. Ben, you have to agree that the women are better with money in these cases.
In everything, believe me, even in building. If I would be building something, you will have a butterfly landing on it, that the thing will collapse.
I will not comment on that. Let's please tell us better about school project in Indonesia. I think it's really amazing.
Yeah. Actually, we were approached by an NGO called Classroom of Hope about 2 years ago, and they had the task to start building schools over there after the earthquake in 2018 on the island. There were about 1,100 schools that were destroyed in the earthquake, and tens of thousands of homes actually. And they were one of the first responders over there, and they started building, let's say, temporary schools over there. And when they heard about our technology from, I don't know, actually, it was from a recycling, let's say, a partner of us, when they heard about us. And they wanted to start doing the whole project. And really, when they saw what we were doing, they were so amazed at what we could offer. So what we in the beginning we sent over some containers from Finland, not very sustainable, have to say that, not environmentally friendly, but the thing is, we shipped out a few containers, enough to build 4 schools over there, and after a long period of time, it takes quite a long time to get the goods released and to be transported into Indonesia. We finally got there last summer in I think it was in June. We started, there was a school, a 300 square meter school that was destroyed in an earthquake. And at that point, we just take all the rubble away, put the steel profiles on the foundation, and our technical director, Toni Kontkanen, flew from Finland to Lombok to help them to build. He gave them actually a 5-minute training on how to build with the blocks.
5 minutes.
And the local community built that same school that was previously built in 9 months in just 6 days.
Wow.
And that is, and when actually the local community saw what they were doing, they were like, come on, we need to build our homes with this. So actually they are now building 200 schools over there on the island, and also 4,000 homes. So
wow.
it's a huge impact that we're making. And why do we build a factory over there? There's enough raw material over there. We want to employ the local people, creating 400 jobs with one small factory, with waste picking, contractors, logistics, everything included. So it's a huge impact.
Yeah. No, I was just thinking that this. I was thinking aloud that this is not only valid for the emerging countries, but also for the advanced economies. Like Netherlands has a huge problem with building, and especially now, I don't know if you're up to date, there has been a huge flow of refugees. Netherlands has run out. So they're building containers where they put refugees in. And they are generally metal containers, which are awful in the temperature, in the weather, and they're putting, so yours, and plus Netherlands has excess of plastic waste, which of course we ship it out because we are a very clean, advanced nation. So we ship it out to Africa and everything else.
Yeah, but that's happening.
Yeah.
That's happening all over the world.
Exactly.
Like it's the same thing that we have in the United States at the moment also. The people they want to build houses for the people coming from over the border from Mexico.
Yeah.
They want to build, there's a huge amount of, let's say, homeless people in the United States. So that's why we're actually we're building 2 factories in the United States also at the moment. So it's just not about the emerging markets. It's all over the world.
Yeah.
And of course, you have to remember that with blocks, you can build a house or temporary shelter or whatever, hospital, but you can also dismantle the house. And after that, rebuild, for example, to another location or just anywhere. It's very easy. It's very easy.
And at the starting, Markus, you mentioned something about CO2 reduction. Can you explain on that, please?
Well, the easiest example is really a very, very easy calculation. A square meter of blocks weighs about 20 kilograms. A square meter of brick and mortar or concrete wall weighs about 200 kilograms.
Yeah.
That's already a reduction of 90% of carbon in that.
Yeah.
But then, if we introduce also the fibers into the product, which would be normally burned, creating a lot of CO2 emissions, that will cut down, let's say, at least for 95% of the carbon emissions. But I don't want to state anything which I can't let's say, verify. We're making all LCA calculations for the products when the factories are operational, and then we can actually, we might be able to sell carbon credits in the long run if we're using the fibers in the products. But don't kill me with this yet.
Yeah.
Markus, but does the building process need electricity?
No, you just need a few tools. So what you need, a wrench. There are steel profiles that actually these threaded rods going from top to bottom. And then you need an angle grinder to cut certain profiles, and water level. That's the 3 tools that you need.
And if you would need to say, kind of in a short 1 sentence, what are the unique features of the blocks?
That cannot be said in one sentence. There's so numerous of them. Actually,
I got you.
Or it can be a very long sentence.
well, 100% recyclability, 100% reusability, job creation, lightweight, carbon credits. So it's just
Continue. Sanna, continue.
Yeah, we have discussed with Markus that it's so easy to create something which is very complicated, but it's very hard to create something which is very simple, easy to use, so that everybody can have it.
Hey, when you think about having this kind of block, somebody would say that, hey, come on, it takes about half an hour to do this kind of thing. It took us 3 years to design the product. It really is the thing is that 95% of all the designers that were involved in the process said that this is never going to come in one piece from the injection molding machine. But we refuse to have that. So, but it's over here.
And now, what is the lifetime of such house or building? Is it forever? Or?
The blocks itself have a lifetime of over 100 years. So the real thing is about, let's say, they're doing the aging testing for only 100 years. After that, it's, let's say, it's not worthwhile to do the testing anymore. So if we build according to the legislation of what we have or the codes that we have for block solutions, it's going to last at least 100 years.
And after that, it is 100% recyclable.
Yeah.
Oh, so they can bring it back to you, or how does that work?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Let's say maybe not back to us, but our grandchildren to recycle the blocks and rebuild new things of that.
Yeah,
I just also one of the features is that really,
then it's a circular economy project as well.
Hey, come on, that's how it is. And really about the blocks itself, that the reusability, what Sanna was reflecting to, it's also that it grows according to your need. So let's say the couple in Kenya, they can afford to build barely the 30 square meter house now. But the family grows, they get 2 children. You can expand the house when you can afford to do that. So just dismantle a part and expand the house to your needs.
Okay.
And we were all, actually the people in Africa, they were saying, hey, and then when the kids leave home, we can give the blocks away to them so that they can
exactly.
Exactly.
That's really cool.
Just before
you don't need to move anymore, you just build on top. Or actually, how many floors can you build?
As a standalone product. So the load bearing is very big. So, but the thing is, as a standalone, without an external skeleton, you can do 2 floors. But with a skeleton, let's say there is no limit for that. So, building a high-rise, the partitioning walls with the blocks, that's totally okay.
Okay, because I'm originally from India, and we believe that keeping the family always together. So when you have kids, they live above you. If you have grandkids, they live above you. So.
yeah, absolutely. But and I understand that also that the prices for the plot is very expensive in India. So you need to build upwards. So that it's a perfect, and it's also the weight. So if you build let's say just build 100 square meters of partition walls with the concrete or brick and mortar, weighs about 23 tons. Do it with the blocks, it weighs 2 tons. So I mean 2,000 kilograms. So the weight difference is also only 10%. So the difference is, so you will save about 18,000 kilograms of raw material.
But when you speak about weight, what I was thinking, if the blocks are so lightweight, what about stormy weather?
So the thing is, why we're using these steel rods inside the structure is actually preventing the structure from flying away. So let's say if it's a hurricane-infested area, we just increase the amount of steel rods that we have inside the structure just to prevent the high wind loads and so on. Actually, it's the draft that is the most important. So it's not flying away. It's not the horizontal low wind load that is the most important part.
I have a very important question for investors. Is your product patented?
Yes. Of course, let's say global patenting is not something very, very simple. We filed for the patent in 2018. And we got a lot of, let's say, older the patents are coming in from different countries, but let's say we're talking about 160 countries, so they have their own processes, but it's, yeah, absolutely, it's been patented.
Okay.
That's great.
And of course, we have the
Copy protection and
Yeah,
trademark also
Yeah,
for the
yeah.
product, yes.
Okay. And beside blocks, which other materials are you planning to build, or are you building, or are needed for your building?
Sorry, I didn't understand that.
So beside the blocks, do you
Yeah.
need other things for your building?
Yeah,
Are you
Yeah,
building
of
them
course.
yourselves?
The blocks are all only the frame for the house,
Yeah.
for example, or building.
So you will always need to do the interior and exterior finishing for the house. You will need to have the walls, you will need to have the windows, the doors, and so on.
Who is
So
doing that?
you have, sorry?
Who is doing that? Are you also
The contractors. Let's say we are, what we do. We train contractors to do the whole package. So when the factory starts over there, like the guys in Indonesia, they have already trained 7 different contractors on how to build with the blocks. So they're just installing gypsum board on the inside, finishing the inside, doing some cladding on the outside. So it looks actually like any normal house after that.
And now when we are building the model houses, of course, the blocks, they are, we have sent those from Finland. But of course, like windows, doors, roofing, we are using local materials. So that, of course, we are not sending those from Finland. It's the same like in the future, the raw materials, so that they are local.
And one of the added features is that we have made, let's say, connection system so simple that it's going to be very easy to install all the adjacent products for the doors and windows and so on.
And what about electricity, water, gas? How is it to incorporate or integrate to the building? Is it difficult?
No?
I'm really, once again, happy that you asked these questions. As you can see, we have the cavity over here.
Yeah.
This cavity is actually.
Can you see it?
Let's
Yeah, we
try
can
it.
see that.
Yeah. So the cavity is actually 50 millimeters wide. So which means that you can, it's acting as a conduit from top to bottom at the same spot every 10 centimeters. So you just drop the cable inside the cavity, drill a hole, take the electrical cord out, and put the switch or socket, and that's it. No need to drill anymore. Just let's say installing the cable, very easy. Same with plumbing, same with gas. Of course, let's say it's acting as a conduit, and you always know that there's a cavity every 10 centimeters.
What about sparks or fire?
Yeah, fires. That's why you were asking the previous question about the finishing. As a standalone product, the product is not fire resistant. Of course, you have to regard that it's like a wooden house. At some point, if somebody is torching it up, it will start to burn. So what we need to do, that we are actually covering the surface with like gypsum board, cladding from the outside to create that fire barrier in between the structure. But for example, now we tested a product for with some installation and gypsum board. We got a 1 hour 4 minute fire rating already for it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's great. What about earthquakes? Is it resistant?
It is very, very resistant. There are only 2 factors that are contributing to this destruction in an earthquake. It is actually acceleration times mass. So if we take the mass away from the equation, actually the destruction is so much less. Actually, we made some calculations now that it would withstand a 9.4 Richter scale earthquake before collapsing. But then again, there would be some structural damage. But even though it would fall apart, it would not fatally injure anybody because it's so lightweight. We are going to make the shaking table test next year, so that we will have, let's say, really hands-on approvals also for these, let's say, affected areas for earthquakes and so on.
And I had a question. Since you have so much empty space inside the blocks, because like you showed, there's funnels and everything, What about more? And water can go through, air can go through. So what about rats, mold, and all those kind of things?
Yeah, actually, well, when you think about the water bottle, it doesn't penetrate any water. Of course, let's say if you take a high pressure washer and start to wash the wall, some driplets might come out from the other side. But then again, usually you do have the exterior finishing, which is actually also preventing the water from penetrating to the other side.
Okay.
What about aesthetics? Sanna, maybe you are expert here about different colors. How many colors can we get in which? Can I have a blue house or green house?
Of course, you have to remember that the blocks, they are only the frame. Like we have different colors, but when you do the finishing outside and inside, so of course you can have the house in what color you want. But of course we can have the blocks also in many colors. We can add some color to the blocks.
Badges.
Yeah, but of course, as you can see, this nice brown. This is from coconut. So it always the color.
This is 100% recycled plastics. This color. So we have, let's say
we have many colors, but
this.
Yeah. So
you're prepared for today.
Yeah, but of course, if you have the finishing, for example, gypsum board, and outside some plastering, so you don't know that there are blocks inside the wall.
But for example, let's say we're working together with UN Habitat and UNHCR. So when they are actually using our products for and if they allow to, let's say, use them for, temporary shelters, then we can use any color that we like when we do actually the injection molding. So yes, you can decide your color, whatever you like to have.
Great. Now I want to have a fire chat with you guys. Really just yes and no, okay? And maybe a short comment. So, do walls produce microplastics?
No.
No.
Can blocks produce allergies?
No.
Is it safe to build with blocks?
Yes.
What kind of tests have been done for blocks? Oh, that's not the
There's
yes.
no yes and no answer for that. Numerous tests, let's say, all over the world. Yes.
Great.
Yes.
Yes. And are they good for temperature insulation?
Yes.
Where can people get the blocks? Yes.
Yes. All over the world, let's say, beginning of next year, in every continent.
Okay, great. Now another question. How can people become a local licensed manufacturing partner?
This is a little bit more, let's say, a value-driven, conversation. They need to abide with the code of conduct of Block Solutions. So the thing is, we want the people to abide with the UN SDGs that we are following also. But if they can work together with those and they can say that, hey, I will sign the code of conduct of Block Solutions, yes, definitely, we will find a way to work together with the license partner.
I really like it because I was speaking in Finland a couple of weeks back to the head of all your major corporations. And I just said that if you pay as much attention to protecting your values as much as you do to protecting your profits, the world would be a different place.
Yeah. We are a for-profit, but we are a for-profit with values. And that is, we emphasize the values, really.
That's important.
So what are you guys looking for? Are you looking for investors to grow? How can we help you, or how can our audience help you?
And
that's the tricky part. It's not easy. So the thing is, we're not taking the easy shortcut where we're really making the things so that. But the thing is, it is a profitable business model, but it's just going to take a little bit longer time to get to the point. But when it starts doing the whole thing, then it's going to be profitable. So maybe 3-4 years you will be profitable. So what we're going to establish 5 to 7, let's say, global hubs, one in Asia, one in Africa, one in MEDA, and one to Southern and one to Northern America. So we're looking for local people to run the business as Block Solutions on a global level. They're locally. So I mean, let's say, for example, then we will be able to have the local culture within the company to help the people in that specific market. And we are establishing factories in through this global hub. And we always go into a market with our first own factory. We build that as a proof of concept. And then gradually, when the people know that the business is working over there, then we attract the different licensees. We have, let's say, them stacking up at the moment already. They're waiting to get the things launched. But the thing is, we want to make the proof of concept first. So we're raising between 21 to 63 million for each hub. 21 to the let's say outside Asia hub, and then we're going to be the one big hub in Asia for 63 million. That is to be given so that we can provide loans for the local licensees to establish the factories, but also for our future own expansion in the area.
Mm-hmm.
And are you looking for purely for strategic investors who will not only invest but who will work with you and who will build the factories and run the factories? Or are you looking for financial investors?
We really don't want just, let's say, steady money. We want to have that somebody has an impact also on the business for ourselves, helping us to get by, connections, everything like that, and who want to. So we're looking for impact investors who have something to say.
But what
similar
about,
kind of people like I am actually.
Yeah, but what about people who just want to give the money, who are just pure financial investor?
That's a tricky one.
63 millions to build a factory. Will you take it or say, because I have no time to build a factory and help you with that?
No. We will definitely build a factory by ourselves. But the thing is, usually I'm looking for somebody who has something more to give than just the money. That is, if let's say, if preferable, but let's say, impact investors. That's what we're looking for.
Okay. Yeah, with the heart. I mean, I would give you all my heart for with 63 million.
But I think that there are enough people who have a good heart in this world who really want to make a change, and let's make the change together. That's the point.
And who are your nearest competitors and your threats?
The biggest threat is actually the access to decent price raw material. So that's what we need to tackle. But that's why we're working together with recycling companies at the moment already. Mm-hmm. So let's say, for example, in Ghana, we have a recycling factory that is producing the blocks over there in Ghana. We're doing the same now in India. And actually, the biggest competitors are the conventional ways of building. So let's say, every initiative that is cutting down the carbon footprint is good. I'm not, let's say, feeling threatened about them. It's actually good just for the environment.
Yeah.
Do you provide any kind of guarantee of your house?
Of course, normal guarantees we have to give. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's let's say 70% of the failure within construction is related to human errors. So it's very safe to say that we will give you a warranty on the product, but we don't give you a warranty if somebody screws up when they're building.
And can you tell how many houses you have already built and in which countries? So kind of, because I've heard so many, so I lost.
School in Indonesia.
Well, let's say
we have one house here in Finland, one model house. Then we have in Egypt.
Well, let's say we have multiple in Africa. We have few houses in Brazil, a few houses in North America, and then multiple in Asia, actually.
And in Africa.
Africa is the far the biggest. Let's say the whole sub-Saharan, let's say, areas are, let's say, already we have houses over there.
And what is your next 5 years plan? So you're going to start focusing on Africa, then you will move on to Asia, or you're going to do
No. We're going for the global structure right away with the hubs. So especially because the need is so big. 3 billion people need homes. So we cannot just focus on one area. And that is why, let's say, I've been our licenses have been from the Fiji Islands up to Mexico. And that is 18 different time zones in between. So when we're doing it from Finland, it's quite heavy for us. So that's why we are now getting the local hubs to take care of the business in those areas. So that is also ensuring us that we can expand the business as fast as possible.
Okay. I mean, I'm not a very expert on construction, but do you require licenses, local licenses, to build a house or something with your material?
Yeah, absolutely. Every single country actually, let's say from outside Europe, will need their own licenses to. So let's say they need to fulfill the building code. So that's what we need to do. But that's what we're doing.
Okay. And how are you planning to grow and reach out to more potential customers? So what kind of marketing strategy are you using?
Actually, the best we have so far been doing is actually word of mouth. The thing is,
and the model houses.
And the model houses.
So
when
that
the
people can see their own eyes.
They
what
can
the blocks
they
are.
can really taste, they can smell, they can see whatever they're doing with the model house. That is the best marketing that we do, and we haven't been having any struggle with getting customers. It's not that, but the people just need to see how it looks like, and they are so amazed what we can accomplish.
Like, what is the current capacity? You said you have no struggle with clients, but what if suddenly, I don't know, thousands of people want to build a house? Will you be able to serve that, or where is the limit right now?
Yeah. So I mean, let's say one factory will produce the blocks for up to 2,400 homes per year. So let's see what 140 factories will do. That's quite a significant number. And I remember actually now the president of Kenya just announced that they need to build 250,000 homes every single year from now onwards. So I mean, let's say we will not be able to produce that with the blocks. Absolutely not. But we can give a fighting chance to fill at least, let's say, maybe 5 to 10% of that.
Yeah. I was just thinking, a lot of countries now who are coming up with this concept of smart city development, like India is doing smart city development, Algeria is doing, and we have been involved in a couple of them. And I think your houses, quite very well in my knowledge, would fit into that concept completely.
Absolutely. They are actually building in Saudi Arabia also the new, let's say, the wall system over there, and they want to have a factory already over there to be just built for that project. And of course, it's not going to be enough, just one factory, but still, it's a good start.
Exactly. And especially Finland has quite a considerable amount of knowledge and expertise on smart city development. Are you also working together with Finnish institutions to promote your business abroad?
Yeah, absolutely. And the only way that we can really scale it fast is through the licensing model that we give. We give the majority of the, let's say, stakeholder into those areas. So we just get royalties out of the production.
Well, the time is running, guys. I would love to talk more about the houses, but maybe last question. Where is the nearest house to Switzerland which we or some other people who are watching could see? You said in Finland?
You should pay the visit to Finland. That is actually the closest possible to... Okay, Cairo, Morocco or Cairo might be actually closer, and it's at this time of the year it's better to go over there.
And India? True. Do you have something in India?
No, not that, but Indonesia, a lot of them.
Okay.
But we're going to build, definitely at the beginning of next year, we're going to build model house in India also.
Right.
I already have a lot of ideas. We have to talk about it later.
Let's do that.
To round our today's discussion, we'd like to ask you to say a call to action to our global audience. And again, ladies first.
Okay. I like to remind you that there are 3 billion people in need of affordable and sustainable housing. So we do not have any time to waste. There are so many people who need the safety of their own homes.
And when I think, of course, thinking about block solutions, we can scale. We can scale to a certain level. But of course, we will be, let's say, we're talking about a maximum of 1% of the total market in the world. but we need to have partners to do that. And that's why we're calling up for action to join the forces of Block Solutions to build a greener future together with us in the globally local hubs. Together we can and we will make a huge positive impact.
Wow,
Keep it
that
simple.
was
Keep it simple,
Keep
yes.
it simple.
that was a very nice message. Thank you, guys. I'm sure you will find the resources and people to support your mission. You already got us.
Yeah.
We are more than happy.
So happy with this. So and yeah, whenever call us, we're online.
Be sure we will
ready.
do. We will WhatsApp you
Yeah.
and call up. And
Yeah.
as a little thank you, guys, for coming today, we'd like to also provide a certificate as impact leader and the honorary membership of Chamomile Impact Community. Just register and
Wow.
you will be
And,
upgraded.
and I think you can also promote your business on the Chamomile community because it's an international global community with financial institutions and everybody on it. So you can
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you very much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you very much.
yeah.
Thank you, and thank you for your inspiration for everyone today.
Thank
Thanks
you.
again. Thanks, Sveta. It
Thank
was
you.
a pleasure.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Wow, I
That
couldn't
was-
stop smiling today. It was a very positive show, which, however, needs to end as all good things, right? Next week, we actually will be back with a huge surprise with a celebrity. And to see her, it's a her, you will have to wait for a week to watch her on our TV show. This is why don't forget to subscribe on youtube.com/SwissImpact, and then you will always be aware of what's going on.
Exactly. And we invite all impactful businesses who are really making a difference and who are looking or seeking support to come and communicate with us.
You get more when you give back.
So always invest with impact.
Bye. Enjoy your weekend.
Bye-bye.
Hi, we hope you enjoyed this episode of TV show Swiss Impact with Banerjee.
Make sure you check out the next one and also find us on Facebook, LinkedIn, Spotify, podcasts, and any of your favorite social media places.
And please subscribe to our channel so you know when we release new episodes.
And also leave us some feedback to help us grow this awesome impact community and join it.
We look forward to sharing the next episodes with you, and until then, you get more when you give back.
So always invest with impact.